friends, and welcome to another video. It has been a while since I've been here on my channel, but I am excited to be back and sharing this video with you, and I'm hoping to have some more coming soon as well. But one thing that I have been kind of struggling with YouTube is just content ideas, not art ideas, but content ideas, things to talk about and to share with you guys. I have a lot of like tutorial ideas and things like that, but I also want to do funner stuff. And I had this idea that since I was drawing all of these kind of like spooky girls, this was part of a whole series that I did for my Etsy because I did a Halloween launch, and I did a bunch of kind of spooky girls. I did a ghost, I did Medusa, I did a vampire, I just did another vampire that's going to be coming in a next video, in another video, and I did a siren. So that's what I'm working on during this video. I am working on this siren piece. It's mixed media. I'm doing it on this like watercolor board that I have really enjoyed working on recently. This piece, by the way, is for sale in my Etsy as well as prints of it. There's a couple things left still from the Halloween launch, and there's stickers and all of that. So if you like it, definitely check that out. But I thought that it would be really fun during spooky season because I am very, very into spooky season this year. I'm excited for Halloween. I feel like we didn't get Halloween last year, and I'm here for it. Pumpkins everywhere. Let's do this. So in honor of spooky season, I thought it would be fun to talk about some kind of like spooky things and haunted things. And so originally, I wanted to share a ghost experience that I have had with you guys, and I would still like to do that. So I'm hoping to do that in an upcoming video. So if you are interested in that and you like this video, then let me know in the comments if you want to see that, and give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you like what I'm doing. But I want to share my ghost experience at the Lalaurie mansion, but I decided that for this piece, because it's like a siren and she's in the water, like that's a water, ocean, animal, creature, mythological creature, I guess. I thought that I would share another place that I've been to that is quite spooky, which is the Queen Mary. And I thought I would talk about that because I thought that would be really, really fun. So if you haven't heard of the Queen Mary, but I'm sure a lot of you have because it's pretty famous, the Queen Mary is this really, really famous ship, and it's from the 30s. It was like made in the 30s as this cruise liner, like luxury transatlantic liner that, because that's how they crossed the ocean on a really, really long journey. And so it had to be really nice and fancy. And it like served like so many like fancy people like Winston Churchill and like all of those people. It was very upper class, but that lasted for like a grand total of 3 years because then World War II broke out and there was not a need for that at that time. So it got transcripted, is that the word? Co-opted. It was transformed into like a troop ship, and it was known as the Gray Ghost when it was a troop ship. And by the end of World War II, it had carried like over 800,000 troops, and it played a role in like a significant role in pretty much like every major Allied campaign, and like even participated in D-Day. So definitely experienced a lot during war, and that alone I feel like is enough to contribute to a ship being haunted. But there's definitely a lot more with this ship as well. So after the war was over, the Queen Mary was refurbished and resumed back to like those cruises in 47. But by the 60s, those transatlantic cruises were kind of not really popular anymore because of plane and like air travel, which is way more convenient. And then the Queen Mary like tried to do cruises like pleasure cruises, but she couldn't really keep up with, like all the modern conveniences that current cruises have, like pools on deck and like air conditioning and stuff like that, things that we kind of take for granted nowadays. So she was retired. She was docked in Long Beach, the city of Long Beach in California, to use as a maritime museum and a hotel. So her final voyage was to Long Beach on December 9th, 1967, and it became this historic hotel and museum and conference center that is internationally recognized and has attracted thousands of visitors every year. And like I said, it is also considered to be really, really haunted. So this is considered to be one of the most haunted hotels in the United States, potentially one of the most haunted places in the United States slash in the world. So I was kind of nervous when I went there, I'm not gonna lie. But over the last 60 years, the Queen Mary has been the site of at least 49 reported deaths, plus war. Plus there was this collision that happened that I'll go into later as well. But I'm going to kind of talk about some of the reported ghosts and ghost stories that there are about the Queen Mary, and then I'll kind of touch briefly on my experience staying there and like anything that I felt or experienced or whatever. So the first story that I'm going to talk about was the most recent death, which was in 1966. So that was like a year before she was retired. And this was in the engine room, which is 50 feet below the water level. So really down in the basement. And there's this, it's called Door 13. And it has crushed at least 2 men to death at different points during the ship's history. The one in 1966 crushed an 18-year-old crew member. And according to some guests, he's been spied dressed in like blue overalls or coveralls with a beard, walking the length of the shaft alley before disappearing right by door 13. It's a really, really, really heavy door. And I'm like looking at a picture of it right now because I didn't go to the engine room, and just the side of the door alone is freaking, it's like scary looking. It's just this big, heavy iron door, and I really don't like it. The other thing that is apparently really popular to see ghosts is the swimming pools, and I did see these. I walked past these. I didn't see any ghosts. Neither are utilized today for the original purposes, but the spirits, they don't care. So the first class swimming pool is closed, but women have often been seen appearing in like old 30s style like bathing suits, and they're wandering the decks. And others have said they've heard the sound of splashing, or spied wet footprints leading from the deck to the changing room. And then some other people say that they see the spirit of this young girl with a teddy bear. There's also rumors of a spirit of a little girl named Jackie, who's often been seen and heard in the second class pool room. So the sad story behind the ghost of Jackie is allegedly it was a little girl who drowned in the pool during the ship's sailing days and just like refused to move on. And her voice, as well as the sounds of laughter, have been heard there. Although it has been pointed out that there have been no known drownings to have ever occurred on the ship. But that doesn't necessarily mean Jackie isn't there. So in the Queen Salon, now Queen Salon I spent a lot of time in, if I remember correctly, because I feel like that was part of the like the conference rooms, because I was there helping to video and photograph a conference. I just paused and I Googled an image of it. And yes, I definitely have been in that room a lot. I took a lot of photos in there, and now I feel like I need to go and look through all of them. But apparently this place used to be the first class lounge, and a beautiful young woman in an elegant white evening gown has been seen to be dancing alone in the shadows of the corner of the room. There's also claimed to be a bunch of odd appearances in first class staterooms, reports of a tall, dark-haired man in the 1930s style suit, lots of like 30s by like ghosts, it seems, as well as like water running, lights turning on and off in the middle of the night, phones ringing with no one on the other end of the line, you know, your typical kind of ghost stuff. In a third-class children's playroom, a baby's cry has often been heard, which is potentially like the sound of an infant boy who died shortly after his birth. And then there's other phenomenon that's reported around the whole ship, such as sounds of distinct knocks, door slamming, squeals, drastic temperature changes, and aromas of smells long past, whatever that means. So another thing that happened with the Queen Mary was back in World War II in 1942, it was involved in a really, really horrible collision with the HMS Curaçao. I'm not 100% sure if that's how you pronounce that. And it claimed nearly 330 lives. And basically what happened was the Queen Mary was doing this zigzag course to help evade U-boats. And it had caught up with the Kurakoa, which was their escort vehicle, and was going to overtake her. And they were like looking at the Queen Mary doing its thing, and then they realized that the Queen Mary continued to swing and was on a collision course to them. And the Queen Mary, which was 20 times larger and had been traveling at her top speed of 28.5 knots, rammed into the Kurakoa, and basically cut the ship into, and then it was the Atlantic too, so it was like freezing cold water. I mean, we've all seen Titanic. There were also seamen that were trapped behind the watertight doors as well. And it was a really tragic and horrific accident that claimed hundreds of lives. And in addition to that, the Queen Mary was not made the choice, the captain of the Queen Mary made the choice to not stop, because his direct orders, because they were carrying troops for World War II, were specifically you are not to stop no matter what happens. You are delivered to deliver these troops safely. This is too important for you to stop or whatever. And so he kept sailing. So this was a super, super tragic and horrific accident. And definitely, I feel like if there are any troubled spirits, I could definitely see those being on the boat. The last location on the ship that is supposed to be super haunted is the stateroom B340. And this is the most notorious place for paranormal activity on the entire ship. And the legend behind the room B340 that I was able to find online is apparently back in the 60s, during one of its last transatlantic cruises before it was docked, a man went crazy and brutally murdered 2 women. His crimes were discovered and he was locked in his third-class stateroom. The door was locked and a guard was posted outside. A little while later, he started pounding on the door and saying someone was in there trying to kill him. The guard ignored him, and after a while, he quieted down, he figured he went to sleep. And then the next day when they came and opened it, the man was dead and fully murdered, ripped apart, not good. And it was in one of these 3 potential staterooms. Later, when it was docked in Long Beach, all those 3 staterooms were combined into the larger room B340. So there's always been so many different legends of that story. And honestly, there is no records of that happening or anything like that. And to me, that sounds like total old wives' tale. But B340 is considered to be the most haunted room, and people have claimed a lot of different paranormal experiences in that room specifically. So that is the legend of the Queen Mary. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience on there, but this isn't the focus of the video because it wasn't that exciting. And I was on the ship for, I think I might have mentioned this, for a work conference. I was photographing it. So I wasn't in any of the super famous rooms or anything like that. I was just in a normal small little room, probably it was probably a cheaper room then, probably a cheaper room back then too. And I ran up and down the entire length of that ship. I literally, and I got lost so many times. That ship is so freaking confusing. I feel like everything looks the same, and I don't know, by the end I had finally figured things out, but I feel like I went on almost every single area of that ship that I could publicly go in at the time because I got lost so many times. Did I see anything? No. Did I hear anything? Also, no. Actually, I did hear my neighbors arguing, and it was low-key awkward, but also I'm nosy, so I was just sitting there listening, and I was like, wow, you guys need to chill out. But did I get a weird feeling? Yes, actually, a few times. There is a weird vibe on the ship. I will give it that. But the thing is I didn't really get a mean vibe. I didn't get a vibe of anger. I don't know. It was more melancholy. Like there was a sadness there, but it wasn't like, I didn't feel like if there were any spirits on that ship, I didn't feel like they were there to like harm me in any way. I did think that the ship was absolutely stunning. It was so beautiful. It was like Art Deco from an artistic, or artists. I was trying to say both words at the same time. From an artistic perspective, it was such a beautiful place to visit. It was just, I don't know. It's stunning. The views are stunning. All the rooms are like just so, I don't know, they have a real personality to them. It's a really, really cool place to visit. And if you're not if you're not horrendously like freaked out by the ghost thing, then definitely go visit it. I was really, really scared because I believe in ghosts. I'm not 100% sure what I believe, if I feel like they're actually like cognizant of the world around them or if it's just some sort of energy. But regardless, I am paranoid and I don't like scary movies, and whether ghosts exist or not, I will make myself scared, like so scared. So like when I was there, I don't know if ghosts left me alone because like literally I walked in and I closed the door and I said, hello, if there are any ghosts in here, my name is Alice. I am really nervous about ghosts. So if we could just like keep it chill this week. I'm not kidding you. I did this. I was like, if we could just keep it chill this weekend, I have to work. I'm really nervous. So like if we could just keep it chill, that would be really, really great. And then I did that a couple more times later. Like if I was ever nervous, I would be like, hey, ghost, if that's you, could you just go? Temperature changes. I was freezing, but I'm always freezing, so I really would not read into that at all. I'm like freezing actively right now. So yeah, that was my experience on the Queen Mary. That part wasn't the interesting part of the video. I thought it would be like more interesting to talk about the history of and the ghost stories behind the Queen Mary, since I don't have like a personal scary experience myself. But I could at least share like my feelings on the vibe of the ship and what it was like to stay there for a few days. I have had a ghostly encounter. And I do actually have like a photograph that you guys can pour over and tell me if you think it's a ghost or not. So if you want to see that video, let me know. And I will probably put that with this vampire painting that I just did. So, or I'll put it with something else because I have another idea for a video. I have a lot of ideas. I hope that they make it onto the internet. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking with me. I know that I don't upload that often anymore, but I am really, really trying to come back to YouTube, and I hope that I will be able to be consistent and be back here one day. And hopefully that day will be sooner rather than later. So I love you all so, so much. I will see you in my next video, and I hope that you're having an absolutely wonderful spooky season. If you liked this painting, definitely check out my Etsy where, like I said, it's available. There's also some really cool Halloween stuff there. I have Zodiac stickers that are like pumpkins, like carved pumpkins. So if you want your Zodiac symbol carved into a pumpkin on a sticker, check out my Etsy store. And I stream on Twitch 5 days a week, Thursday through Monday. So check that out as well. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.